Long before manifestation became a hashtag, and way before your social media feed was flooded with daily affirmations, there was a woman quietly teaching something radical. She taught that your words are never harmless, that your thoughts are not just passive observers, and that what you say, out loud, can literally shape what happens to you. Her name was Florence Scovel Shinn, born in 1871. She lived in an era when women were rarely encouraged to think independently, let alone teach others how reality works. Florence began her career as an illustrator for children's books. She was creative, imaginative, and deeply intuitive. But her art was really just the surface of a much deeper exploration she was undertaking. What truly fascinated Florence was language. She started to notice patterns in the lives of people around her. She saw how those who constantly spoke of lack and scarcity always seemed to find more of it. She observed how fear, when repeated aloud, became a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. And, most importantly, she saw how people who consciously learned to change their words, slowly but surely, began to change their circumstances. Florence came to believe that our subconscious mind is always listening. It doesn't take breaks. It doesn't go on vacation. It is constantly recording. And our spoken words, she believed, act like direct commands to this powerful, hidden part of ourselves. In her view, people were not helpless victims of random chance. They were active participants in a mental game they didn't even realize they were playing. She began to teach these ideas, mostly in private circles, to women who felt powerless in society at the time. Instead of using complex philosophy or academic jargon, Florence used simple stories, humor, and familiar biblical symbolism to get her points across. She spoke about life as a game with a clear set of rules. And if you could just learn the rules, she taught, you could finally stop losing. In 1925, she self-published her most famous book, a slim volume with a refreshingly direct title, The Game of Life and How to Play It. The book didn't sound mystical or esoteric. It sounded practical, like a user's manual for living. In it, Florence taught that fear attracts loss, that holding on to resentment blocks success, and that spoken faith has the power to reorganize your circumstances. She insisted that words, especially when spoken with emotion, possess a genuine creative force. This was a revolutionary idea at the time, something that modern psychology and neuroscience would only begin to explore decades and decades later. But Florence didn't neatly fit into any established category. She wasn't a scientist, so she couldn't offer peer-reviewed studies. She wasn't a preacher, so she didn't have a church. She wasn't part of academia, so she had no university backing. And because of that, she was largely ignored by the very institutions that decide who gets remembered by history. As the decades passed, her ideas began to spread, quietly, often without her name even attached to them. Concepts that she had pioneered like affirmations, manifestation, positive thinking, and the law of attraction exploded in popularity in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. New authors became famous, books sold millions of copies, entire movements were built. But the original blueprint for all of it was already there. Florence Scovel Shinn had written it first. She never became rich from her work. She never became a household name. She died in 1940, long before she could witness just how profoundly influential her simple ideas would become. Yet today, millions of people unknowingly repeat her teachings every single morning. When they stand in front of the mirror and speak affirmations, they are using her techniques. When they close their eyes to visualize a desired outcome, they are practicing her methods. When they make a conscious effort to align their language with their intentions, they are playing the very game she described almost a century ago. Florence once said that life isn't a battle to be fought. It's a game of cause and effect. And the most important move you make, the one you make most often, is the one you speak. History didn't erase her because she was wrong. It just forgot her because she was early. This is Stories Off the Map, where we explore the ideas that shape your life. ideas that often began long before you ever heard their names. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing for more.